Welcome to About Mansfield. It's your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo, broadcasting from the Cellmark Studios, along with Colleen Daniel. She's out there in Studio West, and we are here with the About Mansfield news team. Today is January 29th, 2025, the 256th edition. Coming up, it's Mansfield News, Talk, and Information.
And a little later in the episode, you will have a chance to win a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice with our Mansfield Trivia Question, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance.
Let's take a look at the stories we're covering this week.
The May ballot has some new additions.
Mansfield dubbed a music-friendly city in a moment with the mayor.
MASD releases policy on immigration status.
Despite changes, Pickle Parade brass says it's business as usual.
Police department warns community of local scams.
In consumer news, why are the price of eggs so high? And in sports, you better add North Texas SC to your vocabulary.
And in the talk segment, Steve concludes his talk, Bitcoin 101, in studio with local educator Gary Leland. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Navigating the ever-changing real estate market can be exhausting. At the Hornburg Real Estate Group at One West, our team of experts help make the most of your home selling goals. From the ability to bring buyers multiple cash offers, offer different ways to sell your home, and even offer pay-at-close vendors, we help you get top dollar. We have a robust marketing strategy to ensure you always have options to get your home sold in the way that makes the most sense for you. Each agent at the Hornburg Real Estate Group has been expertly trained and has years of experience behind them. Find out why our clients consistently rate us 5 stars year after year. Call or text us at 817-264-7087. Again, that's 817-264-7087. Or visit us online at homesbyhrg.com.
Hi, I'm Corey Berlin, 2022 Boston Marathon finisher, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
The local May ballot has expanded a little since last week. The council ballot, as it currently stands, includes incumbent Mayor Michael Evans and challenger Julie Short for Place 1, as well as incumbent Councilwoman Tamara Bounds and challenger Lori Williams.
And Colleen, I just checked the city website prior to recording this episode, and a special election for Place 5 on the city council has been added to the ballot. Place 5 is currently held by Councilwoman Julie Short, but win or lose in the mayor's race, Short will relinquish her Place 5 seat. Ms. Short will remain on the council in Place 5 until her successor is duly elected. Currently on the ballot for Place 5 is restaurateur Melissa Perez. Colleen, what's going on in the school board race?
There are a couple of new names in the school board race, as Anna Alicia Horn has entered the race for Place 4, while Jesse Cannon II has filed for Place 5. The school board trustees ballot, as it currently stands, includes incumbent Craig Tipping and challenger Jason Thomas for Place 3, incumbent Kezia Valdez-Farrar with challenger Ana Alicia Horn for Place 4, and incumbent Bianca Benavides Anderson against challengers Dustin McDonald and Jesse Cannon II for Place 5. The filing deadline for candidates interested in running for City Council or Mansfield ISD School Board is Friday, February 14th at 5 p.m. Early voting starts Monday, April 21st, and runs through Tuesday, April 29th. Election Day is scheduled for Saturday, May 3rd.
The Mansfield City Council held a regularly scheduled meeting on Monday evening. The following opinions of those of Michael Evans may not necessarily reflect those of the Mansfield City Council. As we do every other Tuesday morning, we say top of the morning to Mayor Michael Evans.
And top of the morning to you, my friend.
Let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it, buddy.
Monday evening, the city of Mansfield, I've always known it to be a friendly city, but specifically
Man, I got some good news for you.
Talk to me.
Yes, not only that, we celebrated the city of Mansfield receiving 2 certifications from the state of Texas. Mansfield is officially a tourism-friendly Texas certified community and a music-friendly Texas certified community. And let me tell you what this is. These designations put us in a small group of Texas cities that are known to create remarkable experiences in tourism and music endeavors. And I want to thank our Visit Mansfield and Cultural Arts team for doing the work that puts us on the map. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I also want to thank State Representative David Cook for recognizing these designations through a resolution at the state legislature. And also, I think it's important to mention, too, that we started the meeting just giving thanks for the dearly departed Harold Bell, who's gone home to be with the Lord, as well as Barry Howard. These are great people in our community who really helped to set the stage for who we are today. And also, Steve, we appreciated Representative David Cook for his valiant run to serve as the Speaker of the Texas House. Again, let me tell you something. Has nothing to do with partisan politics. He's a son of the city, and thumbs up to him for representing Mansfield very well. And I just think that's important. So I want to make sure that, we talked about that last night as well.
Next on the agenda, you talked about the general election coming up in May.
Yeah, we do have some elections coming up. The election to be held on May 3rd, 2025, sir. This election includes seats for place 2 and for my seat. Yeah, for my seat. And it's really not my seat. The seat belongs to the people, and we're also calling for a special election for place 5, as is currently held by Council Member Julie Short, who has filed to run for mayor. We approved the special event permit and downtown activation grant for the Mansfield Pickle Parade and Palooza.
Yes.
Boy, it's going to be really big this year. Last year we dealt with a lot of rain, but I'm telling you, man, we've got people out doing a no rain dance so that we can make sure that on March the 22nd in historic downtown that we're having an awesome time. The parade this year will start at 1 p.m. So we're going to have some good time for people to get set up, to get set downtown. And I hope we have 60,000 people down there, because I tell you what, you can't beat a Mansfield parade, buddy.
Next on the agenda was a zoning change.
Yeah, we approved a zoning change to downtown district for 4 addresses near 4th Avenue and West Kimball Street. These areas are being rezoned to be more in line with the surrounding properties. So we did do that. And we approved a historic landmark overlay district designation for the First Methodist Church parsonage at 105 North 1st Street. Now, what does that mean? Well,
what does that mean?
Well, that means, glad you asked, this building was constructed in 1945 and was originally created as a home for the clergy of First Methodist. The designation protects the exterior of the property by requiring current and future owners to preserve and maintain the building's historical character.
You concluded the evening with the consent agenda. How many items were on the consent agenda?
We actually had about 8 items on the consent agenda, but let me give you the ones that just, really just kind of make you feel a certain kind of way.
Okay.
So, good, I hope. So, a contract with Humphrey and Morton Construction Company for the construction of Walnut Creek Linear Park Trail Phase 3B for just over $2,576,000. See, I told you that that'll make you feel good, because we know that Mansfield is known for her parks and trails. So we're excited about this next phase. Also, here's one for people who like big dump trucks. So we're purchasing a 2026 Western Star 47 dump truck at about $150,000. $55,700. Brother, that's a lot of dumping.
Because every city needs a dump truck.
Every city needs a dump truck. And listen, you get a Western Star 47, that's a dump truck, man. So also we approved a contract with Texas and Park Hill Incorporated for landscape architecture services at Hardy Almond Soccer Complex, not to exceed $250,000. And you know what? Those are the highlights from the meeting the other night, my friend. And if people would like to watch the entire meeting, just go to mansfieldtexas.gov. So until next time, my friend, there you have it.
As we say, go forth and what do we say?
Prosper.
Go forth. Take two. As we say, go forth, prosper, have a great day. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right. Peace be with you, sir.
The Mansfield Independent School District released a statement Monday afternoon addressing community concerns regarding recent federal policy changes that may affect immigration and customs enforcement, or ICE, activities. A portion of the statement said that, quote, MISD does not collect or maintain records regarding the immigration status of students. As a result, we are unable to provide this type of information to ICE officials. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA, protects the confidentiality of every student's educational records. MISD will only permit access to student records for those legally entitled to access this information, end quote. In essence, the statement aims to reassure families that the district prioritizes the well-being and privacy of its students and will continue to uphold policies that protect them, such as the district's adherence to legal requirements like FERPA and its refusal to collect or share immigration status information. To read the entire statement, visit our website at aboutmansfield.com and click on the Links tab.
Despite some changes and a differing of opinions to a local nonprofit board resulting in an abrupt website shutdown and having to create new social media pages, nonprofit Pickled Mansfield Society says despite the hiccups in operations, the 14th annual World's Only Pickle Parade and Palooza will take place, per usual, this coming March. With us on the phone is the president of the Pickled Mansfield Society, John Presley. Welcome back to About Mansfield.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
So the founder and the original Pickle Queen has left, and with that, the original website, pickleparade.com, has been shut down, but you've had to adjust. You have a new website. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We wish Amanda and Bob all the luck in the world. We did have some differences of opinion, which comes with any organization, and but that hasn't stopped us. Our new website is mansfieldpickleparade.org.
mansfieldpickleparade.org.
Uh-huh.
I understand.
Facebook is Mansfield Pickle Parade and Palooza.
Mansfield Pickle Parade and Palooza on social media. The Mansfield City Council just Monday night granted your special use permit.
Yes, sir. We are so grateful to be partnered with the city of Mansfield for all these years. They have always been our number one sponsor. We are so grateful for all the help that they give us with their not only their sponsorship, but the help with the police, the Parks Department, and the Fire Department. All of our first responders that come out to an event of this size is just absolutely amazing. So we're so grateful for the city to be by our side this entire way.
This is the 14th annual Pickle Parade and Palooza. What can Mansfield residents expect? I know we're kind of in the early days of planning, but what can they expect this coming March?
Well, right now we have changed our schedule just a little bit. The parade will be at 1 o'clock, not noon. We're pushing everything back 1 hour because we need more time to set up with all the food vendors, all the retail vendors, our free kids area. We just need more time to get things set up in the morning before the masses come out. So like I said, we'll be open from 10 to 7 that Saturday, March the 22nd. Parade is at 1 o'clock. Our baby parade is still going full blast. It will be at 11 o'clock in downtown.
In the past, you've had live music and pickle eating contests. Those still going on?
Those are still on. We still have the only band we have booked right now is Run for Cover. They have been our startup band in the morning for the last 10 years. These gentlemen come out and play. Doesn't matter rain or shine. They're out there playing for us, and we greatly appreciate them. We have not booked our headlining band for directly after the parade. We haven't booked our final band yet, but we are working on that. We will still have our pickle eating contest, our pickle juice drinking contest, and our Mindy Lou Pies eating contest after the second band, which will be somewhere around 5 o'clock, between 4 and 5, depending on how long the band runs.
John, give the date, give the location, and the new website URL again.
The date is March 22nd in historic downtown Mansfield, the pickle capital of Texas. Yeah. And our Facebook is Mansfield Pickle Parade and Palooza, and our website is MansfieldPickleParade.org.
MansfieldPickleParade.org. The Mansfield Pickle Parade is happening, per usual, this coming March 22nd through the streets of downtown Mansfield. John, good luck and go break a leg and have a great parade in Palooza.
Well, Steve, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you out there, too.
The Mansfield Police Department successfully recovered $38,800 Wednesday that was lost to a scam, returning the funds to their rightful owners. This outcome highlights the efforts of local officers and detectives. While this recovery was a success, authorities stress that such cases are rare and many scam victims never recover their lost money. Scammers are becoming more sophisticated, making public awareness and vigilance essential. The department emphasizes that victims are not to blame. Scammers often exploit trust and create a sense of urgency to deceive individuals. To help the community stay informed, police have identified several common scams. Imposter scams, where fraudsters pose as government agencies or police, claiming a payment is needed to clear a warrant or avoid arrest. Remember, legitimate agencies do not request payments over the phone. Romance scammers use fake profiles to build trust before requesting money for fabricated emergencies. Tech support scams. This is where fraudsters offer fake computer or phone repairs for non-existent issues. Lottery or prize scams, where they claim you've won a prize but demand payment to release the winnings. To protect yourself, officials urge the following precautions. Stop. Cease all communication with anyone requesting money over the phone. Verify. Contact authorities or a trusted source if something feels suspicious. Protect personal information. Avoid sharing sensitive data with unsolicited callers or messages. And be alert. Requests for payment via wire transfers, gift cards, or cryptocurrency are often red flags. If you or someone you know falls victim to a scam, report it to the Mansfield Police Department immediately through their website at mansfieldpolice.com or by calling the non-emergency number at 817-473-0211.
And Colleen, everybody has been feeling the pinch when it comes to eggs, and egg shortages and soaring prices are hitting grocery stores across the United States, with many shoppers finding empty shelves and steep costs. The average price for a dozen of grade A eggs jumped from $3.30 in October to $4.15 in December, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Some stores are charging as much as $12 per dozen. What is the driving force? A nationwide outbreak of avian influenza, better known as bird flu. The USDA reports cases of nearly 25 states this month, leading to many farms to euthanize entire flocks to stop the spread. Since the outbreak began in 2022, over 135 million birds have been affected. The virus spreads rapidly among birds, making containment difficult. Once one bird gets the flu, the entire flock is taken out. Egg prices are expected to remain high, with shortages continuing as producers struggle to meet demand. Some stores are limiting egg purchases per customer. The FDA reassures that the likelihood of contaminated eggs reaching customers is low, but advises cooking eggs thoroughly and practicing food safety. So for now, egg prices will remain a costly part of grocery shopping. North Texas SC signs a local player, and we'll talk about it because sports is next.
Are you ready to create unforgettable memories? Picture this, an enchanting event venue nestled amidst breathtaking landscapes with panoramic views right here in Mansfield. The Grandview Event Center is the perfect setting to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to large-scale extravaganzas, the Grandview has flexible spaces to accommodate any occasion, be it a wedding reception, corporate Christmas party, or community gathering. Book your next unforgettable experience at thegrandviewmansfield.com. That's thegrandviewmansfield.com. The Grandview Event Center, where memories are made and dreams become reality. Book your event today.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo, and are you ready to make your voice heard? Want to bring out your ideas to life through captivating conversations and engaging visuals? Look no further than Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio, your one-stop destination for award-winning audio and video podcast recording. Equipped with cutting-edge microphones, crystal clear audio recording, and high-definition cameras, we're here to turn your ideas into engrossing content. But it's not just about the equipment. We're dedicated to bringing out the best in your content. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're here to elevate your podcasting game. We'll even help you with intro music, transitions, voiceover, and that professional polish that sets your podcast apart. So whether you're into interviews, storytelling, or simply sharing your expertise, Podcast Mansfield can help bring your podcasting dreams to life. Visit podcastmansfield.com. Podcast Mansfield, where creating your podcast masterpiece has never been easier.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a Level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
In sports, North Texas SC unveiled its 2025 regular season schedule this week. The club will begin its fourth MLS Next Pro season with a Western Conference Final rematch against St. Louis City 2 on Sunday, March 9th. It's the first of a 28-game schedule that will run through April 5th. 14 home games will be played at Choctaw Stadium up there in Arlington, with most games starting at 7:30 p.m. The 2025 season will be North Texas SC's final year at Choctaw as the club prepares to move to Mansfield Stadium in 2026. North Texas SC announced the signing of FC Dallas Academy defender Zach Malomo to a 2-year contract with the club option for 2027, which means Mansfield residents will be able to see the 16-year-old phenom defender play right here in Mansfield next year. Malomo made his professional debut with North Texas SC as a substitute in July of last year. Can't wait to see him perform locally. If you have a comment about the show, the news, whatever's on your mind locally, you can find us by voicemail at 817-435-2938. Think of it as your letter to the editor by telephone. That voicemail number again, 817-435-2938. This coming Friday, February 1st, is National Texas Day. It was way back in February 1st, 1861, when Texas became the 7th state to secede from the Union. Texas's move to complete the first round of secession just prior to Abraham Lincoln taking office. The other 6 states that left the Union include South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and of course, Texas. How does one celebrate National Texas Day? Well, how about we learn and reflect on Texas history? Visit local museums or historical sites like the Alamo, the Texas State Capitol, or the San Jacinto Monument. Host a Texas-themed party and serve classic Texas cuisine like brisket, chili, Tex-Mex, kolaches, and pecan pie, or is it pecan pie? You know what it is. Showcase your Texas pride by wearing clothing featuring the Texas flag or perhaps a map of Texas. Support local Texas businesses. Shop at local markets, farms, and stores that sell Texas-made goods, or eat at a local restaurant that highlights Texas cuisine. Finally, engage in Texas traditions such as enjoying the great outdoors by horseback riding, hiking, or stargazing in a Texas state park. Celebrating National Texas Day is a great way to honor the state's unique history, culture, and contributions to this country.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
Have you heard of UTIs causing confusion in seniors? I'm Angel Biasatti, and we'll be talking about it more next in Methodist Mansfield News to Know.
Do the benefits of a newly constructed home outweigh the things to beware of? I'm Angela Hornburg, and we'll talk about it in the Mansfield Real Estate Update.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, we're exploring what happens when garden-fresh herbs meet sun-ripened berries in a glass.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
Congratulations to Faria Mateen, who knew that the recently retired Pooch from the Mansfield Police Department's K-9 unit is named Stash. When we come back, this week's trivia question. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
It is time right now for the highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield Trivia Question. If you are the first person to email the correct answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com, you will receive a $25 gift card to a Mansfield area restaurant of your choice. It's brought to you by Joe Jenkins Insurance. Whether you're looking for homeowners, auto, commercial, or any other type of insurance, Joe has helped Mansfield area residents understand the insurance coverage that best fit their needs since 2010. You can find Joe on the internet at joejenkinsinsurance.com. Colleen, it's your turn.
Well, Steve, annually, February 1st is known as National Texas Day. This week's trivia question is, what is National Texas Day? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Again, what is National Texas Day? Good luck, and thanks to Joe Jenkins Insurance for the gift card.
Hi, I'm Amanda Rogers, managing editor of the Mansfield Record, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section. Angel Biasatti has information on how a UTI could cause confusion in seniors in Methodist Mansfield News to Know. Angel?
Let's bust some myths and explore the fascinating connection between urinary health and cognitive clarity in older adults. When an elderly loved one suddenly becomes disoriented or forgetful, dementia always jumps in mind. But guess what? The culprit might be something far less and treatable, like a urinary tract infection. UTIs can lead to a state of confusion known as delirium, especially in seniors. Delirium isn't just any confusion. It's sudden, intense, where individuals may not recognize where they are or even who they are. Some might experience hallucinations, making it a frightening experience for both the person affected and their loved ones. So if you notice sudden neurological symptoms in a senior, it's crucial to seek medical attention. Most UTIs are caused by bacteria that can affect various parts of the urinary system. While anyone can get an UTI, seniors are at higher risk of experiencing neurological impacts like delirium. So if grandma or grandpa starts acting out of character, it might be time for a UTI check. The good news, UTIs are highly treatable. Catching the infection early can prevent further complications, and once treated, not only will the infection clear up, but the confusion or delirium should also improve. Prevention is key. Where there's no guaranteed way to prevent delirium, there are steps to protect against UTIs. For women, good hygiene habits, staying hydrated, and avoiding irritating products can help reduce the risk. If you or a loved one suspects a UTI, don't wait. Get evaluated sooner rather than later. So, UTIs might not be the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about confusion in seniors, but they're a crucial piece of the puzzle. By understanding the connection and taking preventative measures, we can help our seniors stay sharp and vibrant. Remember, knowledge is power, so spread the word and help us bust those UTI myths. Stay curious, stay informed. Until next time, keep shining bright. I'm Angel Biasatti reporting for the About Mansfield podcast.
Angela Hornburg addresses whether the benefits of a new home outweigh the potential drawbacks in the Mansfield real estate market update. Angela?
When people are weighing their options against purchasing an existing home to purchasing a newly constructed home, they oftentimes are not clear about the variances. This week, we're covering the top 3 benefits of purchasing a new construction home, as well as 3 things to be aware of if you decide to take the leap. The first benefit is that new construction homes are shiny and new. There's not a more refreshing smell than the smell of a new home. It's never been scuffed or lived in, which means it is theoretically perfect. If you've ever lived in an older home, this specific benefit can really get you excited. The second benefit is that you get exactly what you want. Of course, there are always budgetary limitations, but for the most part, when you purchase a new construction home, you get exactly what you want in regards to lot placement and size, floor plan, finishes, and exterior facade. This is a big draw for most new construction home buyers. And the third benefit is that a new construction home is low maintenance. If you've ever owned a home before, you will be drawn to the allure of a low maintenance home. With new construction being up to date with today's safety code, there should be little to no maintenance for the first 5 to 7 years of your new home. There's also the added benefit of energy efficiency too. Now, once we get past those wonderful benefits, there are some things to be aware of if you decide to purchase a new construction home. New construction prices are higher than existing home prices, and the homes are not sold as frequently. So if you decide to sell in a quick timeline, you could be competing with a builder. So that means when you purchase a new construction home, you really want to be confident you are going to be staying for at least 5 years. Beware of purchasing a home without an agent. Buyer's agent's job is to protect your best interest, act on your behalf, which comes in really handy when it comes to dealing with builders. Skilled buyer's agents know what can and cannot be done, from contract negotiations to being your advocate if and when things go wrong during the construction process and final walkthrough. And the third thing to be aware of is just because the home has passed a city inspector's inspections to close out permits, that does not mean the home should not be professionally inspected. Builders are only as good as their subcontractors, and not all pieces of the building process are checked out by a builder. Always, always, always have your new construction home professionally inspected by a Texas Real Estate Commission inspector prior to closing. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I am Angela Hornburg, broker with One West Real Estate.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good, as Brian Certain serves up a drink that mixes garden-fresh herbs and sun-ripened berries in the cocktail of the week. Brian?
This week's feature is the Strawberry Basil Smash, a modern interpretation of the classic smash cocktail, a style that dates back to the mid-1800s. The original smash, popularized during the golden age of cocktails, was essentially a julep with fresh added fruits. Jerry Thomas included several smash recipes in his pioneering 1862 book, How to Make Drinks, establishing it as the versatile template for creative mixology. Today, we're continuing our New Year, New Sip series with this vibrant creation that celebrates the art of muddling fresh ingredients. But as always, don't worry about taking notes as I'm giving out the ingredients and instructions. I always post them every Wednesday on bourbongospel.com. Today, the ingredients: you need 2 ounces of a premium vodka. You need 3 ripe strawberries that are hulled, 4 to 5 fresh basil leaves, 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice, a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, and a basil sprig and a strawberry for garnish. How are we going to make the perfect smash? In your mixing glass, gently muddle strawberries with the simple syrup. Add the basil leaves to press lightly to release the oils. Don't tear them. Then add the vodka and lemon juice, fill with ice, and shake vigorously for 15 to 20 seconds. Then double strain into a rocks glass over fresh ice. Garnish with a fresh basil sprig and strawberry. The flavor profile: primarily you're going to get that sweet strawberry and the aromatic basil. On the back end, you're going to pick up the bright citrus notes from the lemon juice. And the finish is going to be clean, herbaceous, and refreshing. Why late January? Well, as we embrace 2025's focus on fresh, natural ingredients, this cocktail showcases how simple, quality components can create something truly extraordinary. It's a reminder that even in winter, we can capture the essence of warmer days ahead. Pro tip: when selecting strawberries, look for fully ripe strawberries with a deep red color. If fresh aren't available, you can muddle 1 fresh strawberry with a splash of high-quality strawberry preserves. As always, I'm open to hear your take and input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain was famous for saying, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
We're back in 60 seconds with the conclusion of Steve's in-studio interview with Bitcoin educator Gary Leland.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hi, this is Philip Washington Jr., and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. And today we present part 2 of our interview with Bitcoin educator Gary Leland. And as a reminder, this interview is for informational purposes only. It's not a solicitation to buy, sell, or trade. You know what? Sit back and enjoy. Another word that I keep hearing around the Bitcoin world is blockchain.
Yeah.
What is a blockchain?
Blockchain is the way Bitcoin works. That's what really makes Bitcoin work. Let's just say you had a stack of blocks. You had a stack of boxes. And you have a box, the bottom box sitting there. And all the Bitcoin transactions, let's make like they were pieces of paper to make it people understand.
Okay.
And the box can only be opened from the top. Mm-hmm. You can open the top and put in pieces of paper. Well, every 10 minutes, that box closes, the block closes, and a new one is started on top. And when a new one's started on top, you can't go into the bottom one and change anything. You can't pull a piece of paper out. You can't add a piece of paper. And people are putting pieces of paper or Bitcoin transactions into the box or the block. 10 minutes, it closes, a new box goes on top or a new block. So blockchain is how the Bitcoin is, I guess the Bitcoin is, I don't know what the word I'm trying to think of, secured, that nothing can be changed because you can't go back to an old block and do anything.
Gotcha.
So you can only work on the new block, and every 10 minutes, a new block is established. And the last Bitcoin, the transactions happen, but while I'm thinking about it, I also want to let people know the last Bitcoin will be created or distributed in the year 2140. Because I want to say created, but they're already all created. They're just released,
right?
Every 10 minutes. And the last one of those happened in the year 2140. So, but all 21 million Bitcoin are there. They just aren't being released all at one time.
Right. They're not all in circulation.
Right.
And the way Bitcoin transactions are confirmed is through mining?
Well, mining is the ones that is working the blocks. You have nodes also involved.
Oh,
so you
okay.
have nodes, you have miners. I run a node at my house.
Okay.
Many people run a node. I know people have 5 or 6 nodes in their house. And nodes kind of like if you make a transactions and I'm going to say to you, I'm going to buy a hat for a Bitcoin.
Okay.
And you got a hat. I've never spent a Bitcoin. Of mine.
You're right.
I don't believe in spending them. If I needed the money, I would, but I don't, so I haven't spent them. I would send you the Bitcoin, basically, and the Bitcoin would go through a process. But basically, it would be confirmed by the nodes that it hasn't been spent already, that I really do own it.
Okay.
That's what held up eCash, real eCash, forever. It's not like, if you take a picture, a JPEG or PNG or whatever you want to call it, all I got to do is hit copy. I can make 1 million copies of that.
Right.
And before blockchain system Bitcoin system was worked out, I could just copy, take $1 and copy 1 million times. And I had $1 million. They had to come up with a way to make sure that you couldn't copy that information. And the nodes guarantee they check against the blockchain history.
Okay.
And say, okay, this Bitcoin does belong to Gary. And he's never transferred it, so he can give it to Steve. And now Steve owns the Bitcoin.
And so with a home computer and the wherewithal to do it, you can create a node?
Yes.
And is that
But you're better off just to buy a node. There are people who sell node packages, small little computers for $200.
Okay. And is that mining or
No, that's just confirming verifying
the transactions.
Yeah.
And people actually make money off of nodes.
Not really. They kind of do it to support the system.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is mining?
Now, mining is the action of confirming the block, basically. There are millions of computers around the world all fighting to confirm the block. And they're all getting paid.
So I was going to say that's where the money is.
Yeah, they're all getting paid.
Okay.
And they confirm the block, and whoever confirms the block, basically, here's the simple thing. Bitcoin mining machines are a specialized machine. They cost a lot of money. They're called ASICs, and they can do one thing. One thing only this computer do is mine Bitcoin. If you don't want to mine Bitcoin anymore, you might as well throw it in the trash. You can't do anything else with it.
Yeah.
So they all are fighting to win Bitcoins. And how do they win it? There's a number out there that is generated by Bitcoin, the system. And this number is a super long number, and you have to guess the number. They're all guessing numbers. That's what these machines are. That's all they're doing is guessing numbers. Whoever guesses the number first finalizes the block, wins 3.5 Bitcoin for finalizing the block, and it goes to the next one. So they're all guessing the number. That's it. It's just guessing a number. Whoever guesses the number first, and they're not like trying to figure out a number mathematically. They're just guessing
numbers.
Thousands of guesses a minute.
Wow.
I mean,
Are you a miner?
I have mined before, but I am not right now.
Okay. Can the average consumer get into the mining business knowing that you had just mentioned that the world's largest Bitcoin miner is going to be here in Texas? Now, are they going to put all the ma and pa miners out there?
All the ma and pa miners are out of business already.
Oh, okay.
You can mine. You asked me if I was mining, and I said no, but I am mining.
Yeah.
There's a little miner called an AXE bit, like AXE bit.
Yeah.
And you can hook it up, and it's got a mining chip in it, an ASIC chip in it, just one chip, and you can run it. But your odds of winning a block are like 1 in 100 million.
Wow.
I mean, of winning a block. I mean, it's worse than the lottery.
The lottery, yeah.
But I'm running it. I just wanted to experiment with it, you know, so I bought it for $100 and hooked it
I think there was a kid.
You couldn't look up.
There was a kid, and if I recall, he was either a teenager or maybe even prior to teens. He was up in North Texas. I remember watching this on the news, and he started this is probably 5-6 years ago, started mining Bitcoin. And he went to his dad and said, "Hey, Dad, I need your help. Can you help me buy a second computer?" And he's like, "Well, what's wrong with the first one?" "Nothing's wrong with the first one. We're making money off it." And it got to a point where, if I recall the number, this kid was making something like $17,000 a month mining Bitcoin. And it made me wonder, now, again, with these ginormous bit mining companies.
Big size of football fields filled from floor to ceiling with rows of Bitcoin miners.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah. So it's probably put this kid out of business.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe the kid was smart enough to move into that.
Yeah.
You know, you used to see back in when Bitcoin first started, kids in computer dorms where they had free electricity in their room with their laptops, because you could mine with your laptop. And actually, when Bitcoin first started, if you confirmed a block, if your laptop versus someone else's laptop gets the number, you got paid 50 Bitcoin.
Wow.
So that's why so many of those people from the beginning have so much Bitcoin, because there wasn't a way to really get it unless you mined it. And if you were into Bitcoin the first couple of years, you probably were mining it, you know. And so every time you won a block, you won 50 Bitcoins, and there was a block every 10 minutes. So, and you're using free electricity, but then it changed. So you really couldn't mine it with a laptop anymore, but you could with GPUs, like gamers use.
Okay, yeah.
Those cards were strong enough to mine it, and that's what I was using when I got into mining, was GPUs.
Mining sucks up a lot of electricity.
A ton of electricity. Yeah.
And so that's what I'm hearing again out in the community is these massive 100-yard long buildings are putting a tax on the electric grid.
They are using a lot of electricity, but most people are competitive on that, and they are making 3.5 Bitcoins per block, so they can't afford to be wasteful.
Right.
So you have a lot of people using wind power. You have a lot of people using solar power. You have a ton of people now using gas flaring. Have you ever seen the wells?
Oh, yeah.
And they're burning that stuff up.
Right.
Well, now they bring in a container.
I've seen that, yes.
Drop it off full with Bitcoin mining machines and another container that has a gas generator in it. And they take that stuff, instead of burning it into the environment, run it into the generator, and the generator powers off. And they'll bring like 3 of the containers full of Bitcoin mining machines.
Yeah.
And a gas generator, which is a container, size of a container, and just drop it in there, and it feeds off the internet, you know, to send this stuff in and out. And that's a really big thing now.
So Bitcoin's been around almost 20 years.
Yeah, 16, I think.
All right. Yeah. Are we still in the Wild West?
Yeah, we're still in. I don't know if we're in the Wild West. We're still early.
Yeah,
I will say that. Only like 3% of the population owns Bitcoin. So we're still early.
We're still early, even though, again, today, as of this recording, January 17th, it was at $104,000. Now, which brings up a good point. Do I have to buy an entire Bitcoin like I have to buy an entire stock?
No, you can buy – Bitcoin can be broken down into 100 million pieces. Like a dollar can be broken down into 100 pennies.
Right.
You could go somewhere and buy $5 worth of Bitcoin. That's what I recommend people do. You might want to most people I recommend if you and let me say this real quick because I didn't say this. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who's a tech guy from way back that discovered a technology that I believe in and it has proven itself to be true till now. So I am not giving people financial advice, but if they are interested in getting into Bitcoin, and I found the way to orange pill most people is to get them to start dollar cost averaging. That's an old stock thing. Mm-hmm. You buy a little bit on a regular basis, and no matter whether Bitcoin's up or whether Bitcoin's down, you like have an average that's consistently easy to prove from. So you're not saying, I want to get into Bitcoin today. I'm going to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin.
Right.
And all of a sudden it drops from 104 to 70. And you go, I knew this was a fake, you know.
But see, this is something that you don't look at your money every day.
No.
You don't plant a tree and go back a month later and dig it up to see if it's rooted.
Right. There's been no time in Bitcoin history that it hasn't been up over a 4-year period.
Yeah.
So if you have money you can put in and set aside for 4 years, you're going to be the problem with people who lose money in Bitcoin, besides the fact they put it into a scam exchange instead of keeping it on their own wallet or lost their passwords.
Yeah.
The number one way people lose money is the example I just gave. We're going to say if you bought a Bitcoin today for $100,000 and you looked at it next week and it was 90, you go, oh my gosh, I knew this was a scam. I'm getting out of it. And you get out of it and you just lost 10% on your money. And then a month later, it's 105.
Right.
And you go,
right.
oh, because you're panicking.
Well,
you don't understand Bitcoin, or you wouldn't panic.
Well, and just last week was and it's not just for Bitcoin, but the stock market as well, was a 10-day run of the stock market being down. Bitcoin was also down, as well as the other currencies, 10 days in a row, which we hadn't had a down market 10 days in a row since 1974, I believe it is. And so if people lose patience, people lose dollars.
Yeah, they do. They need to sit back. If they're going to put money in Bitcoin, I think the best way people should do it is say, I plan on putting this in for 4 years. I can afford to be without this for 4 years, and I'm going to ride it through. Because like I said, that's when they lose money is when they do it. So when they panic because they're checking at it and they don't understand. But if you use that dollar cost averaging to get in that we talked about, let's say you can afford $5. Let's say you might not drink a beer once a week.
Yeah.
Or maybe,
Starbucks coffee at $7.
Yeah. Or maybe so. If you put in that you're going to buy $5 worth of Bitcoin every week, and you're not going to miss $5, then you're going to see that go up, and you're going to see that go down, and you're going to see that go up, and you're going to see that go down, and you're going to build a risk tolerance where you go, okay, I understand. And here's what happens. Most places you can do that at, which I'll name 2 of them. I'm not going to give my affiliate code because I don't want people think I'm trying to hawk them. You could go to swan.com or river.com. They're both Bitcoin exchanges. They both allow you to say, I'm going to set up where I buy $5 a week, $100 a week, $100 a month, $10 a day, whatever you have, whatever you want to do. And you will receive updates from them. Bitcoin went up 1% today, and you occasional emails explaining something new happening in Bitcoin. I have found almost everybody that I get to do that, if I work on them and get them to do that, within 3 or 4 months, they call me up and go, hey, Gary, I started at $10 a week. I bought $3,000 today. I understand it now. Or I was buying $100 a week. I bought $200,000 today. I understand it now. So that's a good way to learn and understand Bitcoin is dollar cost averaging.
You're an old tech guy who happened to find a tech that interests you. Yeah. And it interests you to the point where you dove into the pool head first, to the point where you created a 4-minute daily podcast called The Bitcoin Boomer.
Well, The Bitcoin Boomer is my handle.
Okay.
People were giving boomers a hard time. And I said, what the heck? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to go for it.
You were the 4-minute
Bitcoin
guy
show.
because that seems to be the attention span of people on the go.
Well, you know why it's a 4-minute Bitcoin show?
Why is that?
Someone already had the domain 5-minute Bitcoin show. That's what I was originally going to go with. I think I did 750 episodes of that.
Are they still out there?
Yeah, they're still out there. I just got too busy to do it because it was a daily every day.
Right. When I met you, and I met you about 5 years ago at one of these meetups in Plano, and you were off in a corner before the meetup started. You were off in a corner working on a laptop. When the meeting started, you closed your laptop. You says, I was just putting the finishing touches on today's podcast. And it's like, dang. Everybody else is here without any technology in front of them, and you were working on a laptop finishing today's podcast. And
I still take my laptop on vacation with me. My wife says, "Do you really need that?" I said, "Yeah, I can't do without that."
Yeah,
and because I'm a boomer, probably I'm way more comfortable on a laptop than I am my phone. Because technically, I could do everything I do on my laptop on my phone.
Yeah.
But I'm just way more comfortable with a keyboard than I am with my thumbs.
Keyboard and a bigger screen and whatnot. So you have over 700 4-minute Bitcoin.
Yeah. And then I'm producing the Bitcoin Boomer show now. I do that at Biz TV in Arlington. I just go in on Wednesdays. They like the show. I just go in. I have a producer sits there, that changes from year to year who they have producing the show as employees come and go. And I just have a guest come on the show and we talk about Bitcoin. So I just have friends in my Bitcoin world come talk to me for an hour.
And on an even larger scale, you created a conference, the Bit Block Boom. When did you start that?
2018 was the first year. This is our 8th year.
And people come from all over the world.
Oh, yeah. I had in 2019, I had more people from the Netherlands than I had from Dallas.
Because that Ethereum got sent to the Netherlands and
that's funny.
someone at the other end is going, you know what, someone just paid for my trip to Austin or –
That's funny. That's funny. That was pretty clever.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I can appreciate that humor. But it's funny. I had more people from New York. The first 2020 changed a lot, but the first few years I had more people from New York than I had from Dallas. Now Texas is starting to move up, but it's still like I had a contingency last year every year I have a contingency from Australia, 15 to 20 people who come all the way from Australia. So it's not like a Dallas conference. It's not even a U.S. conference. It's a worldwide conference, and that's in April. We've moved it to the first week of April, and it's really like a Bitcoin conference with really strict rules. You're not allowed to talk about any cryptos. You're not allowed to. It's Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. That's all we talk about.
Where is this?
We've had senators there. We've had biggest names in Bitcoin there. We're working on someone really big for this year.
Where is this one?
This one's in McKinney, Texas.
Oh, right here locally.
Yeah. If people go to bitblockboom.com, they can see it. And if they're interested in going, if they use the code BBB1, that's for BitBlockBoom, BBB1, that'll give them $100 off a pass.
Oh, nice.
But we have the same level, if not higher. Well, not higher. We have the same level of people that the big Bitcoin magazine conference, which has 20,000 people at it last year. But ours is much more limited in size. So the guests don't come to the stage through the back door and leave the stage through the back door.
Yeah.
Our guest speakers are usually sitting in the audience, and it's their turn to come up, and they just get up and go talk, and then they go back in the audience. So if you wanted to meet this guy or get a photo with him, or you're a fan of his show, you talk to him.
We've been talking for almost 45 minutes about
time goes by.
But about the different aspects of Bitcoin. What are they talking about in a full day conference?
Oh, Bitcoin. There's a lot to talk about Bitcoin. There's a lot to talk about Bitcoin. Like Friday, for instance, is a day of workshops.
Okay.
And our workshops one of them is, what is Bitcoin?
Yeah.
For the beginners. The second workshop is, what is mining? For people who are interested in finding out about mining or doing mining. And the third workshop is lightning. What is lightning? Now, we haven't mentioned lightning.
We haven't even mentioned because I've never heard of lightning. At least, when it comes to weather, I know what it is. But what is Bitcoin lightning?
Well, money has different levels. You have money as a base layer.
Yeah.
Then you have PayPal as a layer on top of that, handling money. Credit cards as a layer on top of money, handling money. There are all these different layers. And that's what's happening in Bitcoin. You have Bitcoin as a base layer, and then other levels are being built on top of it, other protocols for it. And Lightning is one of the protocol or layers. So when you transfer Bitcoin, if I sent you a Bitcoin, it would be actually kind of costly to send a Bitcoin. You wouldn't pay for a cup of coffee with a Bitcoin because your fees to transfer it would be higher than a cup of coffee. But Lightning is a layer that makes the fees hardly anything. Okay. And what it does is it batches up all the purchases everybody makes and does them all at one time, kind of. So it's a different layer, and it's a lot cheaper. So if I was to go and buy something, if I bought that hat from you we talked about earlier, I would pay through Lightning, which you would open up your phone to your Bitcoin wallet, and it would I would scan your QR code, put in $8, and it would send you $8 worth of Bitcoin via the Lightning network.
Gotcha.
And then when it got to your phone, it would turn it into Bitcoin. So Lightning is a level. Most people don't understand Lightning at all. So that's what the 3 workshops. But all day are the workshops. And Saturday is a conference day with one conference hall and speakers.
Keynote speakers.
Everybody's a keynote speaker, basically. So we only have, let's think about it, we only have one day of speakers in one room.
Right.
So they're all high-level people. It's not like people contact me and go, hey, Gary, I'd like to speak at your conference. I go, and I don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
And I go, well, how long have you been in Bitcoin? I've been in it 2 years now, but I think I got a good grasp on it. I go, you know what? Really, our conference only has 8 speaking slots. So everybody has to be like the top.
Their A game.
Yeah, you got to go somewhere else to start learning how to speak and practicing. Not at our conference isn't the place for that.
Bitcoin has been accepted worldwide. You'd mentioned Putin and Russia. I believe, wasn't there a South American country? I'm thinking Venezuela.
No, El Salvador.
El Salvador.
In 2021,
yeah,
El Salvador announced that President Bukele, after he cleaned it up, made super prisons and threw all the gangs in there for life. So it's pretty safe right now. It's probably safer than the U.S. I know tons of people who are moving there and living there.
Huh.
We were supposed to go last weekend, but we weren't able to go to an event there. But they decided to start Bitcoin standard. They made it currency, an accepted currency in the whole country. Everybody had a wallet they got. The president sent, or the government sent everybody a wallet that had a phone, and it had Bitcoin on it to get them started. And the country itself buys a Bitcoin, I believe, every day. And they bought Bitcoin and put it, and they just are storing all that. And they're just storing it because the president had been sold that Bitcoin was the future. And so they were the first company. Now there's another country just south, kind of like between Russia and China, I believe. Bhutan, I think is the name of the country. They have just a giant dam there, I guess is the deal, damming up water.
Yeah.
And somebody there figured out, we got all this electricity. We can't even use all the electricity we're making in this dam. So they started buying Bitcoin miners because they have all this electricity going to waste mining Bitcoin. They have maybe 50,000, 70,000 Bitcoins now or something they've gotten from using the free electricity they have. I'm probably wrong on that number, but they have they have enough Bitcoin that China, I'm surprised China hasn't taken them over just to get that Bitcoin.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So countries are moving into it Monday. Today we're talking it's Friday.
Right.
Monday is the day the president-elect becomes the president. One of the bills, he's supposed to sign two bills, or two proclamations, from what I understand. He's got a lot of them he's going to sign, but two of them are believed to be. One is that the United States government will start a strategic reserve for Bitcoin and build that up to 1 million Bitcoin.
Wow.
And which is not anything unbelievable. My gosh, we have a strategic reserve for cheese. I mean, countries we have a strategic reserve for gold. We have a strategic reserve for oil. So this is not weird.
Canada does for maple syrup.
There you go.
Okay.
The cheese one got me, though. Yeah. We have a strategic reserve for cheese. So this is not unheard, but he's supposed to sign executive order Monday for that, and another executive order for I got the numbers wrong on this, but it's like BIP 31, BIP 31.
Okay.
What right now, the Senate and House passed this, but Biden vetoed it. I don't know why he would care, but he did. Must have been other interests that were saying that to me. No, and I'm not saying that because it's Biden, just because there was no reason that the House and Senate both passed it. Why would you care? But he vetoed it, and this bill is the third thing that Michael Saylor, who owns MicroStrategies, claimed had to be done for Bitcoin to basically go to the moon. And this is allowing banks to custody Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to sign that executive order Monday. So everything will be in place. So starting, if that executive order gets signed, it's not going to happen the next day. But what would happen eventually is you'd be able to go to your bank, walk in the door if you wanted to, cash a check, or get online and buy $50 worth of Bitcoin, and your bank would hold it for you.
From your bank.
Just like they hold your cash. They would hold your Bitcoin for you. But that can't happen now because Biden vetoed that bill. So,
and it's becoming so common you can now buy Bitcoin for your 401k.
Yes, you can. You can buy an IRA, Bitcoin IRA. You have Fidelity, you have BlackRock. There's like 12 companies that are doing IRAs in Bitcoin, and they're all up. Actually, let's just use BlackRock for example.
Yep.
Their gold ETF, they've had out for 20 years now.
Electronic transfer fund?
Yes.
Okay.
They started 1 year ago, maybe a year and a week ago, a Bitcoin ETF.
Yeah.
In 1 year, it has already passed what gold ETF grew in 20 years.
Oh, my gosh.
So, and they used to be very against Bitcoin, BlackRock. And then one day, Larry Fink, the president, saw something in it, and now he says people should have, I could be wrong on this, but I think he says people should have 10% of their money in Bitcoin right now. But it started at 1%. I've been saying for years, though, if you look at your investments, if you're a guy and you do have money in the market and you're looking at your investments, you have money in the market. I'm sure, Steve, when you look at your investments, if it's down 1% today, do you go, oh my gosh, I'm down 1%. This is terrible? No, you don't. You don't even care.
Right.
And so I've always said to people, maybe you should put 1% of your investments into Bitcoin. If it goes up or down, you're not going to have a heart attack. It's just 1%. But the people who listen to me on that are I get messages every day from people going, thank you for being so persistent on putting info out there because of how much they made.
Sure.
I believe, and I've told my kids this, if you have one Bitcoin, if you own one Bitcoin, this is just my thoughts. I'm not financial advice.
Yeah.
I think in 20 years, you'll be a multimillionaire. I think Bitcoin in 20 years will be worth $20 million. All you need is one. And you should do everything you can to get to one, in my opinion.
Just to one.
To one. Because when Bitcoin really explodes, MicroStrategies owns 440,000 of them by themselves. BlackRock owns like 400,000 of them. U.S. government owns like 250,000. China owns 200,000. There's not enough Bitcoin for every billionaire to buy 10. And a billionaire starts buying Bitcoin, he's not going to buy one.
Right.
And it's definitely enough Bitcoin for every millionaire in the U.S. to own one. So if you can get a Bitcoin, if you're like some guy making $20 million a year, you're still not buying one Bitcoin.
No.
You're going to say, I need some Bitcoin. How many can we get?
If someone wanted more information about your 4-minute podcasts, where can they find those?
On YouTube.
On YouTube. And just look up
4-minute Bitcoin.
4-minute Bitcoin.
Yeah, search 4-minute. I tell you what, if someone wants to really see something about Bitcoin, Michael Saylor, who's a friend of mine, he did a video several years ago on Bitcoin. That was a great video, and it's explaining. And I told him, I said, that's the best video I've ever seen. He goes, that was my goal. He was being interviewed somewhere.
Yeah.
If you look up Michael Saylor and the word SALT, S-A-L-T, if you search on Google, you'll probably find it because it was an interview by SALT. Company SALT.
Yeah.
So I recommend people try to find that because that's just the best interview there is ever.
If someone wanted more information about the conference, BitBlockBoom, where can they find that information?
BitBlockBoom.com, and remember that code BBB1.
BBB1 will save you $100?
Yeah, save you $100.
Okay.
And we have all kinds of stuff going on. We have a gun event where we go out and people are shooting guns because a lot of these people come from countries they can't even own a gun.
Right.
They've never touched a gun. They really get off on going out and shooting guns. Everybody likes shooting guns. People who never even shot a gun go, well, that was great. We have a Bitcoin chess tournament going on. We have a casino night Saturday night with prizes that are Bitcoin-related prizes. It's really a fun conference.
And just right up there in McKinney. I think I've not been to one of your conferences.
Well, people come from all over the world.
This might be the one.
If you're in Bitcoin, this is a deal to do. It's surprising to me how many Bitcoiners I go going, I didn't even know that was up there. I just got back from Vegas going to a Bitcoin conference.
Yeah.
Well, there's one right down the street. That's
in the minute or so we have left. Is there anything else you want to conclude with?
I truly believe everything I've said. So do yourself a favor and start looking into it. I'm not saying you have to buy it tomorrow, but you ought to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be like me and find out you could have got it at 100 and you ended up starting at 3,000.
Right.
You want to find out about this sooner or later because it's not going to disappear. And, you might go, oh, I don't want anything. I can't be real if I can't touch it. Well, how often do you really touch your dollars anymore? You don't.
Right.
And it needs to be something like gold. What are you going to do? End of the world comes, you're going to walk around with a wheelbarrow full of gold.
Shave off
pieces. Someone's going to take it all from you. Bitcoin's not a physical thing. You need to educate yourself. That's all you have to do. Maybe look up the Bitcoin white paper. That was the original document written on Bitcoin, what it is. You might read that and go, oh my gosh, because I know so many people who way smarter than me that said, I'm going to prove this wrong, that this is a Ponzi or this is a scam. And they got through reading the Bitcoin white paper and they go, oh my gosh, this isn't. And they started buying Bitcoin because they couldn't they couldn't disprove it. So do yourself a favor and research it.
In January of 2024, you predicted it would reach $100,000 by the end of the year. We've now started 2025. Your prediction for the end of 2025?
It's easy for me to say 175 if I want to be correct again another year. Do you know how much static I took over that prediction when I made 100,000 prediction?
In January of 2024.
Yeah, I took a lot of static. People private message. You're crazy. That's idiotic to say that. That's not even fair to tell people that.
Yeah.
You know, and I was obviously I was right. But I think that it's an easier prediction to predict 175 by next year than it was to do the 100 by this year.
Yeah.
So I think it's an easier. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about changing my prediction and upping it. So
wow.
Yeah. But I made that to be conservative so I could be right.
Gary is never wrong. Gary, it's been a pleasure. Oh my gosh, it's been a pleasure. I like I said, it's a household word, but there are a lot of people, and as you mentioned, only 3% of the population own Bitcoin.
Yeah, of the world.
Of the world, yeah, and so thanks for shedding light.
Yeah, and now we have the biggest financial companies in the world dealing in it: BlackRock, Fidelity. I mean, J.P. Morgan. These are big companies. These aren't people with a guy sitting in a room going, I'm thinking Bitcoin looks good. These are companies that have staffs of hundreds of people researching anything they do.
Right.
You know, so, I mean, BlackRock probably has 100 people who've been researching Bitcoin for 5 years to make this move. It's the brightest minds in the world are doing it. I think I'm going to join them because I'm definitely not the brightest mind in the world.
Thanks for being on About Mansfield.
I enjoyed it completely.
Coming up next week on About Mansfield, we will talk in studio with yet another wonderful guest. You'll just have to tune in to find out who it is. In the meantime, this is the place where you will hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, engage, connect, amplify, elevate, celebrate, embrace, explore, share, love. You know what to do. Support this podcast if you haven't already, so you never miss an episode. It's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Enter your email address right there on the homepage. We will never, ever, 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 ever send you any spam. That is my promise to you.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor feature, Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Mansfield Real Estate Market Update, Angela Hornburg. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production, editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without prior written consent is strictly prohibited. We thank you all for listening on behalf of the entire news team. I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.